Most parents spend the first year of their baby's life wondering if they are doing it right. Not the big things. The big things you can check off a list. Feed them, keep them warm, get to the pediatrician on schedule. It is the invisible things that keep you up. Am I responding fast enough? Am I too close? Not close enough? Is this baby okay? Are we okay? Is what is happening between us what is supposed to be happening? Here is what nobody tells you. Your baby is already answering that question. Every single day. In behaviors so ordinary you have probably stopped registering them. Your baby is showing you the outcome of an evaluation that their nervous system has been running since the day they were born. A continuous, biological, non-negotiable assessment of one question. Can I trust this person with my life? And when the answer is yes, when all the data your baby's developing brain has collected across thousands of small interactions tips over into something the neuroscientists call secure attachment, they show you, not in one dramatic moment, in 7 specific behaviors. Behaviors that most parents see every day and never understand for what they actually are. I am going to show you all 7, and by the end of this video, you will never look at your baby the same way. Drop your baby's age in the comments right now. I want to know who is watching. Number 1 starts in 3 seconds. They bring you their distress before they've fully broken down. Watch for this carefully, because it is easy to miss. There is a moment, right before a baby starts crying, where they pause. Their face shifts, the lip wobbles, the eyes get wide, and they look at you, that pause, that look. That is not confusion. That is a check. Your baby's nervous system, in the fraction of a second before it tips into a full stress response, is doing something extraordinary. It is looking for your face to help regulate what happens next. If your expression reads as calm, if it reads as I see you and it is okay, their system can sometimes pull back from the edge. The distress never fully arrives. They settle. If the distress does come, they bring it to you first, before the escalation, before the full cry. In developmental research, this is called social referencing. From around 6 months, babies actively scan their caregiver's face in ambiguous or stressful moments to read what their emotional response should be. Research in Ainsworth's foundational strange situation. Studies found that nearly 65% of infants engaged in social referencing behaviors, glancing back at caregivers during the first few steps of the test. But here's the thing nobody tells you about social referencing. It only works as a regulatory tool if the baby trusts the face they are reading. A baby who does not trust their caregiver does not check that face. They spiral. The distress arrives all at once, fully formed, without the pause, without the look. Because checking requires believing the answer will be useful. When your baby brings you their distress, when they look at you first, what this means is, they have already decided that your face is a reliable source of information about whether the world is safe. That is not a small thing. That is the entire foundation of emotional regulation. And it is built right now in these ordinary moments. Every time they look at you and you look back, they cry differently for you than for anyone else. Not louder, not harder. Differently. There is a specific quality to the cry a securely attached baby produces when they lose sight of their primary caregiver. Developmental researchers call it a protest cry. It is not the flat, sustained cry of hunger or pain. It is communicative. It rises and falls. It has an urgency to it, a specificity, that sounds to a trained ear almost like it is directed rather than broadcast. And it stops differently too. When you pick them up, not when anyone picks them up. When you pick them up, the cry resolves faster than it does for anyone else. The cortisol drops faster, the breathing slows faster, the body settles faster. Research from Ainsworth's longitudinal home observation studies found that babies who have a secure attachment cry less overall, and when reunited with their caregiver after separation, they greet them more positively and settle more cooperatively. What this means is that the cry your baby produces for you has already been calibrated to you. It expects you. It is not an alarm going off randomly into the air. It is a signal aimed at a specific receiver, the one receiver whose response experience has taught them will come. Right now, every time that cry finds you and you come, every time you close the distance between your baby's distress and your presence, you are writing one more line of biological code that says, the signal works. Someone reliable is on the other end. This is real, and it is happening every single time. They make eye contact, then look away, then come back. You have seen this 100 times and probably thought nothing of it. Your baby looks at you, holds your gaze, then deliberately breaks it, looks at the ceiling, the corner, the toy on the floor, and then returns. Looks at you again. This is not distraction. This is the oldest conversation in human development. Research has found that infants as young as 2 days old prefer to look at faces that gaze directly at them compared to faces with averted gaze. Direct mutual gaze is, from the very beginning of life, one of the primary channels through which the infant nervous system reads safety. But the look away and return behavior, that specific rhythm of contact, pause, return, is something different. Researchers call it gaze regulation, and it only develops meaningfully with a caregiver the baby trusts. Here is why. Sustained eye contact, even between people who love each other, is physiologically activating. It raises arousal. It increases heart rate slightly. For an infant whose nervous system is still learning to manage arousal, too much sustained contact becomes overwhelming. So they break the gaze, not to disengage, but to self-regulate, to let the activation settle. And then they come back. What this means is, the look away is not rejection. It is your baby managing the intensity of a connection that matters to them enough to need managing. A baby who does not trust their caregiver does not regulate the gaze. They either avoid it altogether or show none of the rhythmic back and forth. The dance requires a partner they believe will still be there when they look back. Every time you hold that gaze and let them look away, and are still there when they return, you are teaching them something they will carry into every significant relationship for the rest of their lives. That it is safe to need space inside closeness. That the people who matter will still be there after the pause. They use you as a launch pad. This is the sign that surprises parents the most, because it looks like independence. It looks like your baby doesn't need you. It is the opposite. Watch what happens when your baby begins to crawl or pull up, or when they are old enough to move around the room independently. They move away from you. They go toward the toy, the light, the interesting thing across the floor. And then, without any obvious reason to, they stop. Look back, find your face, and then continue. That look back. That check. That is called the secure base effect, and it is one of the most robust findings in all of attachment research. When a trusted caregiver is nearby, securely attached babies feel safe enough to explore their surroundings. Happy to crawl or walk away to check things out, but they keep an eye on the caregiver and often come back for a quick check-in. This back and forth shows a healthy balance. They feel secure in their relationship and curious about the world. Bowlby, who first named this phenomenon in the 1960s, described the caregiver as a secure base, a fixed point from which the infant can venture out into the unknown, and to which they can always return. But the key word is secure. Banni, baby who does not experience that security does not explore freely. They stay close. They cling. Or they go away and don't look back at all. A pattern that looks like confidence, but is actually a learned suppression of the need for connection. Because experience has taught them that checking back brings no useful information. Your baby exploring and looking back for you is not them outgrowing the need for you. It is them trusting that you are there so completely that they can afford to turn away from you. What this means is, every confident step your baby takes away from you is built on the certainty of your presence behind them. They are not becoming independent despite the attachment. They are becoming independent because of it, right now. In every crawl across the rug, in every look back, they let you see them fail. This one goes deep. When your baby is working on something, the toy they cannot quite reach, the object they cannot figure out, the pull to stand that collapses, watch what happens in the moment of frustration. A baby who trusts their caregiver will look at you when they fail. They will let the frustration show. They will sometimes reach for you, and then, if you hold them or simply acknowledge what they are feeling, they will often try again. A baby who does not have that trust tends to either suppress the frustration, going quiet, shutting down, or escalate it immediately into distress with no intermediate step. The willingness to show failure to another person is one of the most vulnerable things any human being can do, and your baby is already doing it. What is important, researchers say, is that the baby develops a generalized trust that their caregiver will respond and meet their needs, and that when mismatches occur, the caregiver will repair them. The repair is everything, not the perfection. When your baby falls and you go to them, you are not just comforting a moment of pain. You are confirming a hypothesis their nervous system has been building for months. When I am in distress, this person comes. When I fail, this person does not leave. What this means is that your baby's willingness to struggle in front of you, to be frustrated in front of you, to fall and cry and reach for you, that is not weakness. That is the highest form of trust they know how to express. Not remembered but felt, encoded at a level below language, below conscious memory. Permanent. They calm down faster when you are calm. This one operates below the level of anything you can see directly, but the research on it is among the most striking in all of developmental neuroscience. When your baby is distressed and you hold them, when your breathing is slow, your voice is low, your body is not bracing against their upset but simply present inside it, something measurable happens. Their cortisol levels begin to drop. Their heart rate begins to follow yours. Their breathing slows toward the rhythm of your breathing. This is not metaphor. This is physiology. The term for it is co-regulation, and it describes the process by which an immature nervous system borrows the stability of a regulated one. Your baby cannot yet fully regulate their own stress response. The architecture for that regulation is still being built. In the meantime, it uses yours. Caregivers build trust when they are attuned and responsive to the baby's needs, fulfilling them regularly and predictably. The young child develops a sense of security that the caregiver will be there for support and comfort. And consistent. Expected caregiver behavior is the key to nurturing emotional regulation and healthy independence. But here is the part that matters most for today's video. Co-regulation only works efficiently. The cortisol drops fastest. The heart rate stabilizes soonest. In babies who have already established trust with their caregiver, a study measuring infant physiological response to reunion after separation found that securely attached infant stress markers returned to baseline significantly faster upon reunion with their primary caregiver than insecurely attached infants. The body's trust in the person holding it determines how fast it lets the alarm go off. What this means is, when you hold your distressed baby and you feel them gradually go still, gradually soften, gradually surrender the tension they were carrying. That is not just comfort. That is biological trust in action. Your nervous system and theirs, in conversation. You're calm, crossing the space between you and becoming theirs. This is real. They protest when you leave and settle when you return. This is the last sign, and the most misunderstood one, because it looks like a problem. A baby who cries when you leave the room, who reaches after you, who shows visible distress at separation and equally visible relief at reunion. Parents who see this often worry they are raising a clingy child, a child who is too dependent, a child who needs too much. They are not seeing. Clearly, separation anxiety and grief, following the loss of an attachment figure, were identified by Bowlby as normal and adaptive responses for a securely attached infant. The protest, the reaching, the crying, the looking for you is not dysfunction. It is the attachment system functioning exactly as it was designed to function. And the reunion behavior matters just as much as the separation behavior. When you return and your baby reaches for you, grabs you, presses into you, and then, after a short time, settles and releases and returns to play, that arc, that specific sequence of distress and resolution, is one of the clearest markers of secure attachment that developmental researchers have identified. If the caregiver leaves the room or becomes unavailable, exploration usually stops and the child may quickly return or show signs of distress. But securely attached children are often more confident in their play once that safe return has happened. The baby who does not protest your leaving, who barely registers it, who does not track your absence, is not more independent. In many cases, they have simply learned not to signal, because experience has taught them that Signaling does not reliably produce a response. The baby who protests you're leaving and calms when you return is the baby who has been answered enough times to know that the signal works. What this means is this: every time you leave and come back, every time you return to the room and find their eyes searching for yours, every time the crying stops when they feel your arms, you are not observing neediness. You are watching trust in real time. Trust that was built, is being built, across thousands of moments exactly like this one. Small moments, ordinary moments, moments that feel like nothing more than the routine of early parenthood. But they are not nothing. They are everything. They are the architecture of a human being's capacity to trust. Not just you, but the world. Not just now, but for a lifetime. What your baby is showing you in these 7 signs is not random. It is not developmental noise. It is the direct and measurable result of what you have been doing. Showing up, responding, being there, in the dark, in the exhaustion, in the ordinary, impossible dailiness of this. You built this. In the small moments you do not remember. Your baby built something they will carry long after they can speak, long after they can name what it is. Not remembered, but felt, permanent, right now. It lives in the way they look back at you when they crawl away, in the way they bring you their distress before it fully arrives, in the way they go quiet and soft and certain when you hold them. You are not just their parent, you are the first proof they have ever had that the world is trustworthy. And they are showing you, every day, in 7 ways that they believe it.